In today's video, let's talk about pitchers. What are coaches looking for in baseball tryouts from a pitcher? All right, so if you're new here, I'm Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro pitcher myself, and I hated tryouts, but I've been through a lot of them. I had to make teams out of spring training. I had to earn playing time in college, even though I didn't have to go through tryouts for college. But let's talk about some of the things for you as a pitcher trying out for your new travel team or the varsity team, JV team, freshman team, whatever. Let's talk about the factors that coaches are looking for in pitchers during tryouts. All right, so first, let's talk about velocity. That's not to say this is the most important factor, but it is a big one. And what does velocity give you? Velocity tells a coach that this pitcher can make more mistakes and get away with them than a pitcher who has less velocity. It doesn't mean a pitcher that throws harder is automatically going to be better than another pitcher. It just means he's going to have more opportunities to fail, to throw a bad pitch down the middle on 2-0 and get away with it. That is why velocity is important. So understand that as a hitter, I'm sure you probably hit two-way, and you probably know that it's hard to hit tougher, to hit faster pitchers. And the other thing that's really important about a velocity is that not only is it your fastball velocity that goes up, but your slider's velocity and your curveball's velocity. And those speed changes when you're throwing an off-speed pitch are much more devastating, and the breaking pitches are going to look a lot sharper when you throw harder. So a big 12-6 curveball that's coming in at 60 miles per hour is not nearly as sharp and hard to hit as a 12-6 curveball coming in at 70 miles per hour or 75 miles per hour. So understand that velocity is something you do need to work on developing over time. You can't completely control it. You can only control how hard you work, but velocity is a big factor. And hopefully the reasons I've explained give you some insight on why coaches are looking for it. They know you're not going to be perfect as a youth pitcher or amateur pitcher. So the more velocity you have, the more you can still be effective while not being perfect. So coaches also want smoothness and clean, simple pitching mechanics. When they see a pitcher who has a easy to repeat delivery that looks smooth, that looks low effort, they say that's a pitcher who's going to have an easier time giving us 5 or 6 or 7 innings without wearing out his arm, without getting super tired, and he's going to have a better chance of throwing strikes in the long term. So when coaches are watching you with your mechanics, they don't want to see lots of extra movement, and they don't want to see herky-jerky mechanics. They don't want to see max effort deliveries. Now, they do want to see you throw your hardest, but smoothness is an important priority for coaches just because it tells them that this pitcher is going to be more likely to repeat his delivery and throw strikes, especially later in the game when fatigue starts to set in. Coaches are also looking for a solid second pitch. No high school coach, well, I'm sure they do, but no high school coach who's reasonable should expect a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid to throw 3 great pitches for strikes. Even college pitchers don't have 3 great pitches for strikes. So as a high school pitcher, if you're trying to make a team, or as a travel ball pitcher in middle school, you should hopefully have good command of your fastball and a good second pitch that you can throw for strikes. If you can do those 2 things, you can be really successful if you throw strikes. And then hopefully you're learning a third pitch. Like maybe you have a good fastball and a great changeup, and your curveball is slowly getting better. Or you have a good fastball and a good slider, and your curveball or your changeup are slowly getting better. But focus on 2 quality pitches that you can throw for strikes. And if you can do that, you're going to be very attractive to coaches at tryouts. And the next big factor, and this one cannot be understated or cannot be overstated, is throwing strikes. When they're watching you throw your bullpens, and you might only get like 6 pitches, 10 pitches, 15 pitches, 20 pitches. When you're throwing your bullpens in tryouts, pound the strike zone. Yes, they need to see arm strength. We've talked about velocity, but you need to show that you can pound the strike zone. If you throw 50% strikes in your bullpen in tryouts, or 50% strikes in the 1 or 2 innings you get in inter-squad game and tryouts, it's going to be hard for them to say, yeah, this kid can give us 5 good innings on the mound, when you can't even, throw 50% strikes in a bullpen when there's no pressure on except for the pressure of the coaches watching you. So understand, coaches are going to know that when they throw you out in a game and there's bleachers full of fans, and there's hitters in the box, and there's way more pressures and things going on. So coaches want to see that you can throw a lot of strikes in practice because they know it's never going to be better in a game. So make sure you prioritize as a pitcher that you can pound the strike zone in practice. So mentally say, yes, I want to throw my hardest to impress the coach with the radar gun, but I also need to really prioritize pounding the strike zone here at tryouts. Lastly, and I'm gonna lump a bunch of characteristics together, but when you're in tryouts, you need to show that you're acting like a professional, that you really care about your craft, that you have a routine to follow, that the way you warm up and you prepare to take the field or prepare to play catch or prepare to have a bullpen, that you go about your business like a professional. Professionalism means you take everything that you do very seriously and you have a process that helps you get repeatable outcomes. So for me as a pitcher, if a coach said, hey, go get warm, go play catch because you have a bullpen in 20 minutes, I'm going to run down there. I'm going to do my calisthenics. I'm going to do my stretches. I'm going to start throwing in a very methodical way to my catch partner, doing drill A, then drill B, then drill C, then drill D, stretching it out, coming back in, spinning my curveball, spinning my changeup, throwing fastballs to both sides of his body. That's how a professional gets warmed up to go throw a bullpen or to go throw an inter squad game. So hustle and all that stuff is obviously important to tryouts, but going about your business and showing your coach that you have a process and that you're going to be repeatable and you're going to continue to get better is very, very important. Lastly, at tryouts, it's always important to show that you're willing to hustle, that you're pleasant to be around, that you can look people in the eye, that you can talk respectfully to your coaches, to your teammates. You know, be a good person. Coaches want to share a dugout with good people. So at tryouts, no matter what position you are, make sure you're prioritizing being pleasant, being friendly, and being a good teammate. Tryouts are super stressful. So my last piece of advice here is to just be yourself. Try your hardest, be yourself, focus up, but don't try harder. If you try harder to throw extra hard or to like be perfect in your bullpen or to spin the nastiest curveball you've ever thrown in your life, it's usually an inverse relationship where the harder you try, the worse you get. So just relax, be yourself, and know that who you are is who you're going to have to be in front of your coaches and on the field. So just relax, have fun, do your best, but don't try harder when you're at tryouts. All right. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description below, and I'll see you here in the next video.